I visited the 10 most struggling US border towns, and what I found was shocking. These towns once thrived on Canadian visitors crossing daily to shop and dine. Now the streets are empty, stores are closing, and locals are left wondering what's next. We're traveling from Washington to Maine, talking to locals and businesses to uncover what's really happening. Is it the economy, border rules, or something else? We're diving deep to find out. Our first stop, one of the most remote border crossings in the country. Our first stop on this journey takes us to Pambina, North Dakota, a small town nestled right on the border. Population just over 500 residents call this place home. It's a close-knit community, deeply connected to its northern neighbor. For decades, Canadians from Manitoba, just across the border, fueled the local economy. They were the lifeblood of Pambina, shopping for groceries and other essentials, buying gas for their vehicles, and picking up packages they had shipped across the border. But now, business is down, significantly. A staggering decline of over 70% has hit local businesses hard. The once busy streets, bustling with activity, are eerily quiet, almost deserted. Why has this happened? A weak Canadian dollar, making the exchange rate unfavorable, makes US goods significantly more expensive for Canadians, and border crossing apps like ArriveCan, with its requirements and potential delays, made crossing the border a real hassle, deterring casual trips. As a result, many Canadians simply found new places to shop, supporting their local businesses back home in Manitoba. To see the difference, we compared grocery prices on both sides of the border. After factoring in the currency exchange rates, there's barely any savings to be had, if any at all. The incentive to cross the border for shopping is simply gone. Before leaving, we donated our groceries to a local food bank, hoping to help in some small way, but it's clear Pambina's problems run much deeper than just groceries. The town's economic lifeline has vanished, leaving a void, almost overnight, leaving the community reeling. Locals are left hoping and praying for a turnaround, for a spark of hope, but the future remains uncertain, casting a shadow over Pambina. Pambina is in real trouble, facing an uphill battle for survival. And sadly, this is just the beginning of a story we're seeing play out in border towns across the country. Next, we turn our attention to Port Angeles, Washington, a city nestled on the Olympic Peninsula. It's famous for its ferry connection to Victoria, British Columbia, a vital link between the US and Canada. The ferry once brought a flood, a wave of economic activity. It brought a steady stream of Canadian shoppers eager to explore what the town had to offer. And of course, tourists, drawn to the natural beauty and small-town charm. This influx kept downtown vibrant, bustling with life and commerce. Now, however, Canadian walk-on shoppers are a rare sight. Local businesses have unfortunately lost a significant portion, half their Canadian customers, a devastating blow to the local economy. The weak Canadian dollar is a major factor. It makes cross-border trips significantly more expensive, discouraging short shopping excursions. And Victoria itself has blossomed and become a major tourist destination in its own right, offering a wide array of attractions. We even compared hotel prices to see if there was a compelling reason to cross the border, but found no real savings for Canadians anymore, further diminishing the incentive to visit. Port Angeles is now directly competing with a world-class city that offers a similar, if not identical, experience. Right across the water, and unfortunately it's losing ground. The town now faces a significant identity crisis. The question looms large: how do you survive when your main customers, the lifeblood of your economy, simply stop coming? The struggle is visible everywhere you look. Port Angeles is actively searching for a new purpose, a new reason to draw visitors and sustain its community. The challenge ahead is undeniably daunting, but the spirit of the community remains strong. Msina, New York, a town with a rich history and a close connection to its northern neighbor. It sits beside the Seaway International Bridge, a vital link that once symbolized prosperity and cross-border camaraderie. This bridge connects Msina directly to Cornwall, Ontario, fostering a unique relationship between the two communities. The bridge once brought a steady stream of Canadian shoppers eager to spend their money in Msina's stores, boosting the local economy. But now the parking lots are half empty, a stark reminder of changing times and economic shifts. A new bridge, while modern and efficient, came with higher tolls, impacting the frequency of cross-border travel. These increased tolls are making those quick shopping trips less appealing for Canadian consumers. Add in a weak Canadian dollar, which further diminishes their purchasing power when shopping in the US. And the lingering border hassles with increased security measures and potential delays add another layer of discouragement. As a result, Canadian traffic has plummeted, significantly impacting Msina's economy. Local businesses, especially gas stations that relied heavily on Canadian customers, have seen their Canadian customer base shrink dramatically, leading to significant revenue losses. The number of Canadian customers has been cut by more than half, a devastating blow to these businesses. We even met a shopper who now only visits once a month, a far cry from their previous frequent trips. They explained that the tolls eat up any potential savings they might find on goods in the U.S. The bridge, which was originally meant to connect and unite two communities, has inadvertently become a barrier, hindering the flow of commerce and people. Msina still has the stores and the goods that attract shoppers, but it's struggling to attract the customers needed to sustain its local economy. The town is stuck in a difficult situation, caught by the very infrastructure that was designed to help it thrive and prosper. The economic impact is severe, with businesses struggling and the community facing an uncertain future. Msina is actively searching for answers and exploring new strategies to revitalize its economy and overcome these challenges. In Holton, Maine, the potato capital, Canadians once made up half the weekend shoppers. Now it's down to maybe 15 to 20%. During the pandemic, Canadians found new shopping routines in their own country and haven't returned. The weak Canadian dollar hurts, but the bigger issue is broken habits. Local stores run on skeleton crews, the cross-border rush is gone. We met a Canadian family who still visits out of tradition, but most of their friends now shop at home. Holton is fighting inertia, trying to win back lost customers. The town is feeling every step of the uphill battle. It's a tough road ahead. Derby Line, Vermont is literally split by the US-Canada border. Houses and even the library straddle the line, once a symbol of unity. Now, post-9/11 security has turned the border into a hard barrier. Streets are blocked, and the famous library is strictly monitored. The easy neighborly vibe is gone, replaced by surveillance and inconvenience. Stansted, Quebec used to shop in Derby Line. Now a short walk requires a long detour through customs. Businesses have lost their closest customers. Residents feel cut off from friends and family just steps away. The town is divided both physically and economically. Derby Line is a community split in two. Calais, Maine once thrived on Canadian shoppers from St. Stephen, New Brunswick. Now empty storefronts and slow business are the norm. The weak Canadian dollar hurts, but the real blow is online shopping. Canadians used to cross for US packages and shop while in town. Now, US companies ship directly to Canada, or Canadians use third-party services. The main reason to visit Calais is gone. The digital economy has bypassed the town. Calais is struggling to adapt. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and its Canadian twin were once one big community. The American side depended on Canadian shoppers from a city 5 times its size. Now, the mall is nearly empty, and many stores are closed. The weak Canadian dollar and new Canadian retail options have erased the incentive to cross. The Canadian Soo has its own malls and big box stores. Why cross the bridge, pay tolls, and deal with border hassles for the same goods? The American side is struggling to find its purpose. The cross-border connection has faded. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, is left searching for a new identity. The decline is stark. Point Roberts, Washington is a U.S. town only accessible by driving through Canada. It relied almost entirely on Canadian visitors for business and supplies. When the border closed during the pandemic, the town was cut off. Businesses collapsed, and residents were stranded. Even now, Canadian visitors haven't returned in force. The real estate market crashed, and many businesses never reopened. We visited a gas station that once had lines of Canadian cars. Now, it's empty. Point Roberts is still reeling from its isolation. The town's lifeline was severed and recovery is slow. Its future remains uncertain. Niagara Falls, New York, sits beside one of the world's most famous natural wonders. But its Canadian neighbor is bigger, flashier, and draws far more tourists. The American side struggles with poverty and empty buildings, while the Canadian side thrives. Canadians have little reason to cross for shopping or entertainment. The exchange rate and lack of attractions make the US side less appealing. We saw packed streets in Canada and quiet ones in New York. Niagara Falls, New York lives in the shadow of its successful twin. The contrast is dramatic. Blaine, Washington was built to serve Canadian shoppers from Vancouver. Its economy depended on package pickup, cheap gas, and groceries for Canadians. Now parking lots and warehouses are empty. Business is down 80%. The weak Canadian dollar, online shopping, and border hassles have devastated the town. Every reason for Canadians to visit has eroded. Blaine faces an existential crisis. What is it without Canadian customers? Brand new gas stations and retail spaces sit empty. The town's identity is in question. Blaine is our #1 most struggling border town. After thousands of miles and 10 towns, it's clear the US-Canada border relationship has changed for good. Economics, technology, and new habits have left these towns behind. They're fighting to adapt, but it's an uphill battle when your biggest customer stops coming. This isn't just about money, it's about lost community and connection. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Let us know which town surprised you most. See you in the next video.